Hello, thank you for joining us for our SMAX user group. I'm your host, Brindusha Kevorkian, and today's topic is software asset management and financial management. And I have with me Pramila from the product management team, and she's gonna be the main presenter today. Next slide. Okay, so if you're here, you're obviously aware about our new SMAX user group series, just a revamp of the series we've been running for a few years now. So we are covering a few type of I would say sessions. One is feature spotlight, where we do deep dives in specific SMAX capabilities, including best practices and demos. So today is one of these spotlight sessions. Then quarterly, we have release readiness sessions. We just had one not that long ago, a few weeks ago, for the May release. And then we also have office hours where we don't have a topic to present, but we open up to discussion questions, and we'll have one in a few weeks as well. Next slide. So in case you have issues with your computer audio, and you still want to join us for discussions a bit later, you have the option to use your telephone. These details are as well in your notification reminder for the call, so you should be able to log in. And with that, I'm handing the microphone to Pramila, and she's going to talk about software asset management and financial management.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you, Brindusha. So just to introduce myself, I'm Pramila Devneni, Product Manager for Asset Management X, our newest next generation asset management offering from Micro Focus. So today, as part of our conversation, I'll be talking about software asset management and financial management in particular, but also try to show you some of the new enhancements we did in that space, what is new, what's coming, and all of that. So, of course, all the information we're going to share today is confidential. Some of it includes our roadmap. So, just to make sure that all of this is proprietary information of Micro Focus and subject to change. Before I jump into SAM and financial management area specifically, I wanted to take a second here to talk about what is Asset Management X and what it includes and what is bundled up. So Asset Management X is built on the Optic platform, allowing you to deliver consolidated end-to-end asset lifecycle management for both IT hardware and software requirements, right from request through fulfillment to managing software titles all the way through retirement and disposal and beyond. All of it in an automated fashion. Asset Management X leverages best-in-industry practices to allow you to have a better governance of assets, automate lifecycle processes all the way. So you could increase efficiency, of course, with increased visibility into full asset lifecycle, minimize wasted resources by identifying and reallocating underutilized resources. As most of you are using SMAX today, if you are on SMAX Premium or if you're a SMA customer, you already have most of the hardware asset management capabilities embedded into your system. So what we wanted to say is with AMX or Asset Management X, you could also buy it as a standalone product, mostly focused, for partners or somebody who's not aware of this product. This could be purchased as a standalone offering by itself, but also could be consumed with your SMAX Premium licenses. Going ahead, just wanted to talk about what sets Asset Management X apart from what is available in industry today. So you get all you need, all built in, but not bolted in product, like something like what other market competitors are offering. We do have natively built-in UCMDB integration. We are also introducing a new kind of discovery called as asset discovery, fueled by universal discovery. So you avoid any type of custom integrations that needs to be done with UD and asset management systems. Of course, native SACM or service asset configuration management, along with service delivery maps, all of that is included. Also, what you get as part of asset management text in a predefined box or a pre-built-in box is access to hardware, portfolio, contract, vendor procurement, and financial management. This is part of a grand codeless configuration strategy that we have. So you escape endless implementation cycles and expensive upgrades. Not only this, but this also creates quick time to value by enabling faster updates and maintenance activities. Or and you'll of course enjoy the lowest TC of ownership out there, delivered through flexible deployment. You could consume this either on SaaS or cloud or on-prem, resulting in cost optimization. We also offer this solution through our mobile platform, so everything you need is just a click away. We have flexible licensing program for this. You could either it's basically unit based licensing, which could be consumed against your name or concurrent users. So we don't charge anything additional for features like features like financial management or contract management. Everything is included as part of this bundled product. We also have 50 discovery licenses of asset discovery that are included, along with 50 software device management for software asset management included as part of it. You could expand and buy as needed and as fits your organization needs. Just before I jump into software asset management, any quick questions about the product by itself, or any other concerns regarding the product at a high level that I can answer for you?
I don't see any questions in the question manager. I did unmute everybody, so if people have questions, they can come off individual mute as well.
If we don't have any questions,
we can go.
Yeah, I'm just going ahead and talking about software asset management. So, sorry. Software asset management is a complex balancing act between over-provisioned or under-licensed scenario, all while trying to ensure compliance for your existing software contracts. You want to be able to tackle software asset management smartly and efficiently to manage your compliance and control risk, while ensuring your organization has just the right amount of software licenses to be productive. With software asset management module inside asset management today, we ensure that your provision just right. We have these beautiful compliance management dashboards and vendor audits and everything incorporated into the system in such a wonderful way that everything is tied together, and you could efficiently manage your compliance across different vendors. So with software asset management X, you would be able to ensure your compliance for your software vendors through out of the box vendor specific dashboards. As I was talking, you could monitor your license consumption through out of the box license rules and metrics, again, which are defined per vendor. Of course, everything could be customized. You could add your own rules. You could customize how you want to see and what you want to see on the system. But we do provide everything out of the box just in case to make it easy. You can optimize your license usage, allowing you to upgrade or downgrade your license versions depending upon the usage using our reconciliation model. What this results in optimal utilization of licenses. So you don't have to worry about if one version writes more than the other. We automatically provide you those paths so that you could set those paths in the system, and it'll consume your if suppose your SQL licensing for 2004 is over, or you're overutilizing it, it automatically redirects the path to a higher or a lower license level depending upon how you configure it. You can of course track your software spend by better financial management while rationalizing your software budget, spend, and allocations. So I wanted to take a few seconds here and show around the system a little. So I'll just walk you through different key components or core components of software asset management, and then I'll step back and do a quick demo so we could actually visualize and see everything that we're talking in the next few minutes. So with SAM, you can easily see your software compliance results in real time through card-based compliance dashboards that show you your installed license counts by software type with drill downs that display version levels and even what versions are being consumed by what machines, both physical or virtual. The installed product dashboards allow you to see and manage products deployed, including your SaaS subscription products. Software publisher views give you easy drill down by product versions, license, and deployment information, and deliver real time through UCMTB. Or the information that you see on your list is brought in through UCMTB with a sync. And of course you could manage your license rules and license settings and your how do I do my compliance calculation, all that information from the screen. You can so as I'm saying, you can review and select which license rules should be applied when determining your compliance at the product version level. Next in what I have is license compatibility metrics or license reconciliation. This is something very new that we introduced with our 2021-05 release. So what this basically means is you would be able to reconcile your licenses between versions of the product of by setting up paths. So this is all pretty much GUI in a GUI fashion, which makes it very efficient. So you could just draw paths between your versions of a specific product. What I have on screen here is a SQL Server licenses. So I'm just trying to embed different paths. So this results in optimal utilization of your licenses. So you don't have to worry about staying out of compliant. If one version is out, it automatically chooses the upgrade or the downgrade path that you set up, and then it calculates the licenses accordingly for your compliance. Talking about the content we support for our software asset management module out of the box today, we support most critical big vendors, including Oracle, Microsoft, VMware, IBM, and Adobe. With specifically with vendors like Oracle LMS, we are vendor certified by Oracle, which means that you can leverage our reporting data directly for any auditing purposes that comes up with Oracle. With Microsoft, we support both on-prem and SaaS installations, including your Office 365 installation. Of course, we do provide out-of-the-box license rules and metrics for every of these products. But if it is something that doesn't fit your need, you can go in and customize it and use it in a way that makes more sense to you. We also support VMware. For VMware compliance management, we support products including vCloud, vRealize, vSphere Suite, and also individual products. We support managing compliance for IBM projects using ILNT as a data provider. So you can bring data about all the IBM products, including their complex server scenarios. We recently, with our 2021-05 release, extended support to Adobe. With Adobe product synchronization, you can automate discovery and uncover usage across the enterprise, regardless of which group or individual producers are consuming the subscription. Optimize and control license costs by identifying unused licenses and reallocate these efficiently by leveraging our license compatibility metrics. So we do it for user-based licenses for Adobe. So these are the 5 big names that we support out of the box. But of course, apart from this, we do support a lot of other vendors. Like we support Microsoft SCCM integration, which lets you bring in your consumption information through SCCM. This comes to UD, and then using from UD, the information is pulled into SAP. You can also manage, and I mean, we support, and you can also manage any software that is basically licensed per installation or per device. You could calculate your compliance and manage compliance for any product of that kind. For example, your WinZips or your VMware workstations and all of that. You'll also enjoy an SDK that allows you to set up compliance rules for software vendors not currently supported out of the box, as well as vendor-specific predefined license rules and out-of-the-box metrics, and all of that are other features that are included as an additional bonus on top of it. Here is a quick high-level overview of the architecture of SAM and how everything works. I'm going to show all of this in the demo, but then just to give you an overview. So we get license consumption information, and what is installed, the installed information from UCMDB. You can also bring it from other integrations, like I was talking with your SCCM, your ILMT, BigFix, etc. But the consumption information comes through universal discovery, and the actual license entitlement information, or the number of licenses you have per product, comes from Asset Management X. Both of them are consolidated inside SAM, and then we apply these license rules that are defined, and to calculate and generate your compliance reports. Let's quickly go in and see, software asset management a little and see what's happening in there. Give me one sec when as I shift my screen. Okay. So I hope you can see my screen. So this is the new asset management menu that you'll actually see with items or components that are specific to Asset Management X. So I'm going to go to software asset management. As I land into software asset management module, you are greeted with the dashboard, which provides an overview of all products installed in your organization and their compliance status, including most at-risk products, addressed based on the latest compliance reports. You can also drill down into vendor-specific dashboard, like I have Oracle here, Microsoft Coral, so I can dig into a vendor-specific dashboard, for example, Oracle, and see my compliance meters, the trend over the past 6 months, most at-risk products, and where I'm overspending, general Oracle database compliance, or option packs compliance. I can drill down into each one of it and see how it is performing. So we do have an overview dashboard, but we also have a vendor-specific dashboard. Other cool component is actually the compliance dashboard. So the compliance menu, we see it broken down by vendor solution. This is basically a card-based dashboard and status. You can also see how whether it's compliant or not, how many versions of it are included, what is the cost of making that compliant. So you could see all of that information. For example, let us choose one product to dig into it. So I choose my SQL Server, and I can see all the versions of that product that are installed. I can see how the compliance is calculated. It's basically per core. Sorry. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second. I need to quickly shift back. Okay, so this is per core calculation. You could see the available license points and the consumed license point, and you can see cost of it. So this way you can know which particular version of the product is compliant versus what is overconsumed or not compliant. If I choose SQL Server 2017 Enterprise, for example, in the demo, I can see the actual products, which is in your asset configuration management or a software asset configuration management. So I can see the actual products on which the software is installed or deployed. I could also see how it is calculated, the model of it, and all of that. So if I click on this, it will actually take me to my SACM asset, or the physical asset that is in there. So as I was talking about compliance, we do it for both on-prem as well as SaaS products. I do have Office 365 here, and then I could see the compliance a very similar way on how it's done for on-prem. So both you could switch the cards between on-prem and SaaS products. So this is about what you see on the compliance dashboards. Of course, all these dashboards are, we do provide these out of the box, but then you can just go ahead and customize them or change them as needed. If there is something that you want to add on top of it, that could be done. You are leveraging our reporting module, and you could bring in those new cards into here. What we are doing with the future releases is we are providing users with an ability to delete some of the items that you see here, which currently is not supported. But then as part of our future releases, we would be allowing you to delete and modify what you see in here too. Right now, you could just add new cards. So this is about what happens, what you see on the compliance. But now I want to just step back a second and show you, like, how is this compliance calculated? What happens in the background? How do you run it? So All that magic happens in the products page. So when I load up my products page, everything you see here are the list of the products that are installed in your organization. This information is brought in from UCMDB. So this is the list of all the products. And then I, of course, can do a SaaS list too. I can create my own integrations with the SaaS vendor and bring in that information for SaaS vendors. But let's look at on-prem for now. So we you could actually do a scheduled sync with CMS, or you could do a on the point sync with CMS or a scheduled sync. The scheduled sync happens upon your scheduled timeline. Sorry, and then you could of course do a sync at in the moment. So if I choose one product that is installed, if I choose SQL Server, for example, you can see number of instances that are deployed for SQL Server on here. But let's quickly go in and see what's happening in there. So when I go into my SQL Server, I can see the product version list, and I can also see if it's in the production environment, what is the component, what is the edition, and all of that stuff. And then I can also see my license rule settings that are set up. So for example, if I choose SQL Server 2019 standard, because license rules apply per version, I could see what is the default rule and what are the rules that are applied. So as I was saying, so you could choose one default rule per product version, but you can also choose multiple others. For example, if your product version supports more than one license rule, you could choose other license rules too. The same thing applies across all the versions. So what I'm showing you here is license rules, but then the actual licenses or the license rights that you have comes from the licenses that you in licenses module. I'm going to go there in a quick second once I finish showing everything in the products. But we do have those licenses information or the rights information under licenses, and then we have license rules and metrics that we apply on top of it to calculate that consumption information or the compliance calculation. So going back to your license compatibility metrics that I was talking when I was showing my slides. So this is how it is defined. You can choose your own path. You can have the downgrade metrics. You can also have an upgrade metrics. You can choose either one of it to calculate your compliance, I mean, or both. And you can draw different paths. It's basically drag and drop. You could just create your own paths in here. Going to licenses. Licenses is where you define the number of rights you own. For example, if I go into my Adobe, it tells me like, how many, what are the total rights I own, if there are any asset tags I could relate to it. License model numbers can be associated, which is basically your asset model numbers, and then I can have an owner for it. You can also define what type of license metrics are you using it. We do have predefined out-of-the-box license metrics that are defined that could be used, and they're also, we have it for all publishers. We also have it vendor specific, like we have for example for Adobe we have user, with Oracle we have host, and so all of them we do have predefined license metrics per product, but you can go ahead and create your own license metrics if this is something that doesn't fit your need. But you cannot delete what a system created, so it will not allow you to delete, but you can definitely go in and add your own license metrics and link them to the licenses you have, so that will help in the calculation of your compliance report. Again, license rules, we have license rules defined per product. All of these are out of the box. We do update these license rules periodically. But if you want to like change a script or create your own script, you can definitely create your own or clone a script and make changes to it and publish it and apply that to your products. For license rules, which generally most of the customers or the trend that we see where license rules are customized as products that are not discovered by UD, but are brought in through other integrations where you wanted to customize those license rules and apply it against a product. That is that is the most common scenario we see. Otherwise, we're pretty much updated with the out of the box vendors. That's pretty much a quick overview or demo of software asset management, and it was quick. Any questions related to that I can take up before I move to the financial management module?
I don't see any question in the question manager. We just had one earlier on about AMX standalone, and we already answered it. It's going to be available soon for 2021-05. But I don't see any other questions. We got one. For Office 365, is there a connector required to pull the details?
So we do use it through an API. So you can just go ahead and create it using an API, the resource API URL, and that's how we need a client ID, of course, and a secret key, and that's how you put in that information through the API.
I think we can move on.
Okay, so just before I talk about financial management, wanted to quickly show a slide on that so we can move into financial management. So with financial management module inside asset management today, you get to take control of your asset costs. You should be able to understand how assets and budgets and cost centers, budget lines, expense lines, all of them blend together and work together. And of course, you should be able to manage your depreciations and net value stimulation. So we have all these dashboards, we have workflows enabled, which are custom, which are out of the box, but also could be customized. You have your, as I was saying, you have your expense lines, your cost allocation rules to help you better manage and take better financial decisions for your future cost allocations or budget allocations. I'm going to walk through all of that right now. I hope you can see yeah, okay. So going back to our demo system and into financial management. So as I was saying, the financial management module allows you to record or refer to financial details of your assets. So first in the menu, what I have is fixed assets. So fixed assets basically enables you to view and refer to your financial details of your assets, such as your acquisition costs or your depreciation or residual values, and disposal information. So let's just quickly see into it and see what we have. So as soon as I land into my, a record of my fixed assets, so I can see the display label, the asset number that it is referred to, the residual value currency. I can also create my depreciation on that if needed and attach, because it's associated with an asset. There is a workflow that is predefined for this on how it should work, if it's reconciled or not reconciled, if it's partially reconciled, and if there is a write-off on top of it. The current record that I'm showing you is reconciled, so the next stage will be write-off whenever that happens. And then we, of course, you can, of course, reconcile assets into it, even your devices or infrastructure and peripherals, or even your fixed licenses. Like, for example, I have a reconciliation here over my Adobe license. And so you could just literally go into the license record and see what is reconciled. So have all of that information in here. So how do I get my detail? How do I push my fixed assets or create records in here? This could be either done manually through the process that I showed you by clicking on the new, or you could import it through a CSV onto here. And you have your cost centers, which is basically the aggregate of the actual costs. So its performance is usually measured through the comparison between incurred and budgeted costs. The cost center feature enables you to view and refer your financial details, such as your cost center effective date, your reporting center, and all of that. You can just click on any cost center. For example, if I take lab testing infrastructure, I can click on it, and then if there are any child cost centers that are associated with this parent cost center, I can deep dive into each one of it and see more levels as they pop up. I have only 2 levels here, so I'm showing this to you. But let's literally go in and see what is there in a cost center. So if I choose a cost center, of course, there's a display, sorry. Of course, there's a display label and then there's a code. You have an accounting code that you can attach with it if there is any. You can say when this cost center expires, what is the reporting cost center that this belongs to, if there is any manager associated with it or a parent cost center, and then when is the cost center effective on and when does it expire. You can also attach your child cost centers or sub cost centers to this so that you could manage that hierarchy that I was showing you before. There is of course a a flow for it. It's just whether it's active or inactive. All the workflows that I'm showing you here are provided out of the box, but yes, you could go ahead and customize them in our administration session. um, you also have cost types, which is basically your OPEX or CAPEX, a cost type that you define here for your payrolls, taxes, or ERPs, or anything that you manage. Similar is the budget types, again, defined by your title, and if it's, you can also define if it's OPEX or CAPEX from here. So we do have budget centers. Budget centers enable you to manage and analyze the budget allocation in your company. You can see and manage all the budgets under the budget center. So if I go into a budget center, which is basically the big umbrella, I can go in and see all the budgets. I don't have anything here, but then I can definitely go in and see all the budget centers that are associated with it. So I can also see the cost centers that are associated with here with this budget. So I can define all of that. And of course, then I have actual budgets, which will enable you to create, maintain, and track your budgets. Inside this, one can also see all the budget lines that are associated. Um, Let me actually pull something up that has information, so it's easy. So if I choose this budget, and then if I go in here, I can actually see the budget lines that are associated with this budget, and I can also measure the expense versus budget remaining from here through this GUI. If I can expand, so I just have one budget line, so I see if I'm overspending, if I have a remaining budget of whatever it is, or if the expense is within the budget. So I can manage my expenses versus budget. So this will not only help me to just see it, but also if I have to make any financial projections for the next coming fiscal year, I can use this information and leverage this information to build that out. One really interesting thing that I wanted to show you under financial management is expense lines and cost allocation rules. So expense lines basically help you to track and manage associated costs with your any of the asset management modules, like your contracts, your devices, your infrastructures and peripherals, your licenses, subscriptions, and users. You could, of course, optimize spend and resources by providing transparency into cost. So the expense lines that you see here can either be manually created or automatically generated leveraging cost allocation rule. Suppose you wanted to do projected expense lines, we could also do that for a particular fiscal year coming up or the next fiscal year. You cannot. So at the end of the fiscal year, we do projected expense lines for the next fiscal year if the asset expiry date or the asset due date is not coming up in the next is not coming up or is ending. So and of course you could do manual expense lines by creating new ones from here if you missed anything or if there's a correction that needs to be done. But for the automated expense lines, all of the magic really happens on cost allocation rules. So if I click on a cost allocation rule, I can create a rule, and then we definitely can. So the two types of cost allocation rules that we can create. One is your expense allocation rule, which happens when you purchase, example, when you purchase a device or anything that includes an expense, and then a chargeback allocation rule, which happens internally, like you're allocating contract to a device or a subscription that happens on top of a device. So you could basically do your cost allocation rules or your expense allocation rule associated with a type of entity, like your contract or your device or infrastructure, or you could even do it to a particular record session. So we do provide out-of-the-box business rules and these record types. So as soon as you do it, whenever the trigger happens, the trigger being the date or the period of the expense, an expense line is automatically created and managed in here. And of course, this is associated to the budget line that I have shown you before. And then you could actually go into your budgets and see that GUI format of how much budget did I spend, how much do I have. We also have it for projected. So what is my projected for the next quarter or next fiscal, and how do I, so that you could come up with a better financial planning for your next fiscal year. Any questions on financial management?
I don't see any new question. The lines are open. You can unmute yourself. Come off mute. Okay, we have one. Is there any architecture diagram to show the relationship between these entities?
We should have one that I should be able to share with you. I don't have it right now open, but we should have an architectural diagram. We do have one. I can share that with you after the call.
Thank you. Okay, no other questions.
Just give me 1 second when I pull up that presentation. Okay, so I guess I'm handing it over to you, Brindisha, then.
Okay, sure. So while people may think about more questions, let's wrap up with a few logistics. And if you're here, obviously you know about the bi-weekly sessions, but we recommend creating a recurring invite in your calendar, and then periodically go in and check the list of topics we post on the community. And then next slide, please. We have two sessions coming. So in 2 weeks from now, the plan is to go over a number of configuration examples. We've been collecting different topics for a while now, and we would like to share some examples with the practitioners. And then on June 9, we are planning office hours. We're still deciding if we'll do them in this order or we may swap, but that's the plan. And we'll be sharing that with you on the community shortly. And I think there is one more slide maybe, or no?
No,
no, thank you. So that's it. So anything else? Let's see if will the architecture diagram be shared by email? Okay, we'll take it offline. If so, unless you have the diagram now, I guess we'll follow up with the person who asked. Okay. Any other questions before we wrap up for today? Okay. If not, thank you all for joining, and thank you, Pramila, for the presentation, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, everyone.